Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Sun Slappers. How y'all doing this morning? Hope all is well with you. Hey, man, this has been quite an interesting couple weeks. Couple weeks. Quite an interesting couple weeks. And I just wanted to say to everyone, before we get this started, um, if you're new here to the channel, please, we're on all social media platforms, Trust in the Process. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Get over there, like, share, and subscribe to those communities if you want to be a part of a community that believes in purpose, that believes in being intentional, that's dedicated to the cause, that's Sun Slappers, that is Trust in the Process. Because we believe that if you understand the process, if you go through the process, you'll get to the purpose. And your purpose is going to lead you to your assignment of why you're here, because we believe everybody has a place here. Um, Listen, it's been a very intense. I went on vacation in Jamaica, and this is how I spent my vacation, trusting the process, going through it, meditating, and going through that whole space. And it was just less than a week and a half ago, and my wife, you know, we walking through the airport, um, getting ready to enjoy the vacation, and I remember um, a couple times just thinking about how excited I was, like getting there, like Jamaica, right? Like first time there, and and just ready to enjoy this experience. Even sat out on the,
There's
you
one thing I
know,
want to tell you
on the
about
water,
living
you
to see
know,
51 years old is
couple
that
monologues I put out, just thought process,
you
watching the
don't know what the
beautiful,
start of that 51 years
watching everything, right? Just
is in God's
being in
intention.
that experience till a week later, sending love to Jamaica, stay safe, Caribbean, because there's a hurricane coming. There's a hurricane, Category 5, uh, one the strongest hurricane that even touched down in Jamaica, and then to find out uh, my godchild and her friend and a couple other, people that we know in Pontiac, from Pontiac, Michigan, is stuck in this hurricane. And so for me to find out that, it was just like, okay, on one end, I could see, I mean, if I didn't come home at the time we came home, me and my wife would be over there. So I began to exercise my faith publicly. Um, I, I, I'm not ashamed of my faith. My faith is a non-negotiable. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I believe in God. I don't profess to be a preacher or any of that. What I am, though, is disciplined, obedient, and dedicated to my faith. And so that's what I know. I know what to do because I know what worked for me and works for me in my transition. So I began to exercise prayer because I didn't see enough of that at the time online. Like, hey, we need to be praying for our families to come home and praying for Jamaica. And so, happy to report the fact that people are, they in stay, they safe. The rough of it has passed over, but now we're transitioning to getting back home. So we're gonna keep praying for them, and we're gonna keep asking God to keep His steady hand to get our people back home. And I am grateful for everybody who participated in the corporate prayers and the love, the hearts, and all of that, letting them know that they have people here, um, that love them, that care about them. And so that I'm gonna jump right into it, and that leads me to this right here. Listen, don't ever save anything for a special occasion. Being alive is the special occasion. Do not save anything for a special occasion, being alive is the special occasion. The right now, um, the fact that you are able to listen to this podcast, the fact that you are able to tune in, the fact that we have electricity, the fact that we have the ability to talk and communicate with each other right now, and we're not wondering where our next meal is going to come from. We're not thousands of miles away from our family and friends. Focus today on what you have, the blessing that you have right now. If anything about what has transpired in the last week has taught me and kind of reaffirmed in me, is that to live for right now. Yeah, I want to focus on tomorrow, right? Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna get there. And yesterday we can, meditate on what we could have done better from yesterday. But what I'm saying right now is be in the moment when you're in present. When you're talking to people today, be intentional about being in those moments. When people are trying to listen to you, and you're trying to listen to people, like, be intentional about being in that present, in that time. Don't check phones, don't check your watch, slow down today is what I'm asking you to do. Is slow down today. So don't ever say anything, don't ever save anything for a special occasion. Being alive is a special occasion. And I'm telling you, I am so grateful, and I say this with such humility, that God he's allowed me to live the type of life that I'm living, and I have the type of family and friends around me now. And I appreciate every storm, every challenge, that I've been through. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again as we're getting through this election season in Pontiac. And for those who may be elected to new positions, and folks who are coming, or reelected, and then folks who are just even thinking about it, a leadership role is a servant position. A leadership role is a servant position. And as a leader, you have to take control of the people. You have to take control of your environment and things around you. If you know that you're called to help other people, right? Like, you can't have individuals around you who are just negative all the time, who bring a certain element to your name, because if it goes unchecked, that means you are allowing that type of behavior. You allowing. People will say, I can't control people. No, I can't control people. I tell you right now, I never try to control people. But what I can do is put a boundary and a demand on the respect when I'm included. I can't tell you how to treat other people. I can't tell you how to act. Hopefully you understand what that is. But what I can do, if it involves me, is you put some respect on my name and you honor who I am, or there's consequences to the fact of we can't communicate. You can't be around me. So if you're allowing certain things to happen in your presence, around your presence, in your name, you're responsible for that. If it's a personal thing that you're leading. A lot of times at work or places that we work for and things that we do, and I'm always going to start with me and just speak to me, because my experiences kind of help. It really kind of shapes what we're talking about here, so I can only start with me, right? As a police officer, there's 900,000 police officers in the country. 900,000. We went from 1.4 to 900,000. 900,000 police officers in the country. I'm not responsible for 900,000 police officers in their actions. However, I am responsible for my actions, and then I have the responsibility for trying to, if I see something wrong or I see something that needs to be corrected, to correct it. And if I see something that's done right, I need to be able to express that as well. And so I didn't start. I once I put myself in that organization, in that industry, then I assume some of the responsibility of what happens in that industry. And I have to be a part of the change, right? So a leadership role is a servant position. It is a servant position. Man, well, here we go. And listen, my cousin Lance came up with this one this morning. I took it off his page. Accountability is so important to me. Nobody's perfect. But don't try to flip the script and make my reaction the issue when your actions lit the match. There's a lot of rocks being thrown and a lot of hands being hidden. A lot of rocks. They throwing them. And then as soon as you getting hit in the back of the head, you turn around and everybody like this. Listen. Go back to when you started getting hit in the back of the head. And who were the new people to show up? And I will lead you to who throwing the rocks. And then you have some decisions and some choices you need to make. But accountability is so important to me. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But don't try to flip the script and make my reaction the issue when your actions lit the match. And so in other words, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago in this fashion as well, you don't get to pick the consequences when you make a choice. You don't get to sit back and Monday night quarterback, as we call it in our industry. When you've seen something, when you know you're a part of what took place, right? Like you don't get to sit back and be like, oh, this shouldn't be happening to me. You don't get that. You don't get that. And so this morning, we're back at it. It is election season. And November 5th, there's going to have to be a conversation. There's going to have to be a conversation around how and who we are and where we're trying to go in our community, in our respected communities, because I see this across the country as I've been traveling and speaking and talking and organizing. Like I just see specifically in Black and brown communities, we're going to have a heartfelt conversation and address these elephants in the room and stop blaming everybody else and looking at everybody else and look at this class system that we've allowed to come in and infiltrate. And now we're looking at classism in the Black and brown community and looking at the have and the have-nots, and we're not addressing that issue. We're not addressing that issue. And it's about time we have that hard conversation. And no one who doesn't live in it or understand it or see it or on the outside of it can help us address that. It has to be a conversation that's needed, and it must happen. And I guarantee you, I'll tell you, I'm gonna be the first one to fire it up here in Pontiac, Michigan. I've been here long enough, have enough experience, enough trust, made enough mistakes, and we're going to have the conversation whether people like it or not. And whether it's starting it off on this platform or starting it off wherever it may be, this sitting in silos and just, us against them and that whole space, I'm over it. I'm over it. We're gonna have that conversation. But I appreciate you. There's some things that we're gonna get to. Listen, tonight, oh my goodness, tonight, let me get this going. Tonight, 7 p.m. on all social media platforms here, I'm going to be with Trustee Tanisha Miller. We are starting a 4-part series, a conversation around education, and not just education, but getting into the meat and really talking about what we want education to be. She's one of the newest members on the Pontiac School Board. Her and Trustee Dooley were the newest members, and Trustee Gross was reelected. And that 4-part series is going to cover, tonight we're going to be talking about who is Trustee Miller, the heart behind the title. Episode 2 is going to be policy and progress, the work behind the scenes. Accountability and advocacy is going to be number 3, standing on integrity. And number 4, the vision forward, building the future together. What does that look like? And so I've been trying to have some in-depth conversations, and it's been about a year. I've been really trying to get this going. And I tell you, I finally am in a space, and I've seen and done enough research. I believe Trustee Tanisha Miller is the person that I need to be speaking with just to start this conversation. Ms. Keisha Bethia out of Plainsfield, New Jersey, she was on the show, and we had an in-depth conversation as well about education. And so I think we need to start at home. And so we're going to do that. It's part of the, Let's Talk Education space that we're going to be in. And again, on these 4 episodes, you want to tune in. You want to find out how you can be a part. There's going to be some introduction to some town halls. We're going to meet up on Zoom. We're going to, there's a couple we're waiting on, I'm waiting on to really kind of finish up where we want to have a lot of these in-person community meetings at. But we're definitely going to start off on Zoom so people can be made aware, right? Like, we're starting with the basics, because people assume a lot about what they think about education and how the process and how it works. But there's laws and there's policies and procedures that must be followed. And it's not left for interpretation because they are what they are. Everybody else seems to be growing and expanding during this time. And Pontiac School District is shrinking and selling. And that don't make sense to me. So we're going to have some conversations and be in depth and really get after it today. I am 7 p.m. again on all social media platforms. Listen, don't forget, it is voting time in the city of Pontiac. It is voting time in the city of Pontiac. I made a post and individuals, I'm not going to say they were upset, but they were, I don't know, confused, or I really don't know what the interpretation of it is. However, I've been able to work in this community majority of my life. And I would like to think I have a very successful track record. The accolades that come with it, the credentials that I carry, my reputation across the country, in the state of Michigan, in education and law enforcement, has really proven, not to me, but proven I've earned the respect of my colleagues. And so I look at situations differently, specifically as, let me get off of this one.
Pontiac is my home.
Well, specifically as a police officer, I'm going to get to that. But specifically as a police officer, I don't get to sit back and watch things happen to people. I don't get to sit back and just pick and choose. I have to go in with the thought process of, is this what it says it is, or who they say they are? Flat out. I don't get to, look at somebody's lifestyle and see how I'm going to help them. I don't get to look at, if the color of their skin and see if I'm not built that way. Right? Now, there are some things that's specific to me as a black man. I'm not changing that. Like, I don't believe that I'm cursed because I believe who I am, God specifically designed me for that. And that's just it. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm still a cup of tea. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't fit into your puzzle. Everybody's not like you, right? But when you have a vision and you have a a thought about a system that you've been working in, that you're systematically trying to change, then I got to figure out what's the best option that we got to go with to move things forward. I didn't make a public endorsement. I just simply said, hey, in my vote, I'm a candidate in this race. I got a chance to see individuals, both Mike and Kermit. I got a chance to see that. I got a chance to see how they operate for years. So people are not going to have the same connection to or resources or the abilities that I've had to as working or experiencing these two individuals. And out of the two, I specifically made a post to support and basically move the election, who I believe that can help move our city in the space that we need to be improve in. And to me, that was this young man right
Pontiac
here.
is my home, and I'm in love with our city. I'm ready to lead as our next mayor and get us moving forward faster.
I've dedicated my life to serving Pontiac, from working for our Congresswoman's office to leading our Historical Society and our Arts Commission, and being elected twice to the Pontiac School Board. And you've seen my work as City Council President, delivering big wins for Pontiac and being a responsive, accessible voice as the East Side's councilman. I've got the experience, energy, and ideas to get results for us. For me, Pontiac is home. My parents met here. I lived with my dad in the Pontiac Knolls, and he still lives there today. I worked in Pontiac schools and our community centers to pay my way through college at Oakland University. It's here in Pontiac where I bought my first home on Mechanic Street 15 years ago on our city's east side. And now I live on Union Street, where I renovated my historic house next to the fire station.
As mayor, I'll focus on what matters most for our families.
Safer neighborhoods, cleaner streets, more housing options, a revitalized downtown, and real investment in our people's success. I'll protect Pontiac's finances, repair our roads and bridges, and deliver on big projects like the new Youth Recreation Center for our kids and the county's major redevelopment of the former Phoenix Center site. And I'll get it done quicker.
Mike has a track record of accountability, of being honest, and being what this city needs.
Our mayor is in charge of running City Hall and makes a big difference in how our city can improve.
I'm Mike McGinnis, and I ask for your vote to be our next mayor on Tuesday, November 4th. Put me to work, and together we will move our city forward faster.
Now, for me, I've had some negative I wouldn't say, I will say they were negative, but I've matured enough. I've matured enough to look at people and look behind what they're saying when there's an attack, specifically to me. And I'm gonna say this to the Pontiac community in this landscape of where we at right now. If we're gonna always base things, or we're gonna base things on race, or we're gonna base things on what we think we know about a person, then we should be doing that all the time. You should be consistent all the time in that thought process. And so a lot of times, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. A lot of time I've supported people by things that I have not said. I have not used my platform to weaponize against anyone, even if I had the right to do so. And even in conversations or things that have played a role, I believe, in my development, I appreciate that. I appreciate them. I've learned to respect those who do not like me. And I've learned to really encourage and build better relationships with those who do. And so that's just me. And you have a choice. You have a choice. And whatever choice you make, you should be making it based upon how you're going to move around and raise families and do things beneficial to you. I'm not asking to not accept one person over the next and things that I'm expressing what I feel. And as everybody has a right to do so. But what has happened in my city, in our city, excuse me, is that we've gotten to a point where our bitterness, evilness, vitriol, divisiveness, these tactics have come into politics. And they've been there at a small root, but now they've just exploded. And so as a person that deals with everybody on every side, and I mean have to deal with them on the legal side, have seen the worst of people, paperwork parties, as they used, as they say, have documents, proof. I'm asking everyone to just, with respect, just stop. Let everybody have a choice and an option. And if they're not persuaded to where you think they should go, then don't weaponize anything against them, anything in your control against them. And if I am asking this, that's the expectation. Now, I did give a warning shot, excuse me. I did give a warning that if we would continue down this path, then we're just going to address the elephant in the room. So really, we're past the mark of we need to address the elephant in the room. So it is time that we get our act together, and I'm just being frank, because my grandkids will not suffer as I've seen other grandchildren suffer because their grandparents stayed silent and it kind of allowed this type of behavior to happen. Won't happen on my watch, not mine. So I don't know how you feel about your family. I don't know how you were raised or whatever you were taught, but I was raised to protect mine. And so if you don't have nothing nice to say, as my grandmother would say, don't say nothing at all. And so as that being in, and this is Sun Slappers, I'm going to see y'all tonight, 7 o'clock. I can't wait to do so. We're gonna have an amazing time. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Again, just a recap quickly. Accountability is so important to me. Nobody's perfect, but don't try to flip the script and make my reaction the issue when your actions lit the match. Control what you do, because you can't control the consequences. This next one, I'm gonna keep saying this every day. A leadership role is a serving position, at least up until past the election. And this next, don't ever save anything for a special occasion. Being alive is a special occasion. Make today count. As the sun is coming up and you're moving throughout the day, make today count for you. Don't forget, we're through the heart of the storm, but we're not through it all the way. Until our people come home, we're going to keep praying for those of us that's a part of our Pontiac community to come back home safely, and then also for Jamaica. Next year, I want to plan a trip there because they're going to have some rebuilding, the same thing we did with Puerto Rico. I want to go back to Jamaica. So I'm putting that on the block right now. So for our travelers, or those who book trips and things of that nature, like I want to put a trip together. So inbox me, get with me if you can help me with that. Man, God bless y'all, man. I will see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. on all social media platforms. We're going to be talking education with Trustee Tanisha Miller from the Pontiac School District. God bless y'all, man. I love you. And I'm telling you right now, ain't nothing you can do about it. All right, peace.